Heidi, can you make me a co-host? Because I've got some things to share.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
All right, and I apologize if that agenda looks quite small. I'm also having a little bit of a issue opening my PDF documents today for some reason. So if you can see that, great. If not, of course, it was emailed to you yesterday, so you can take a look at it there. Welcome. Want to open this morning just welcoming you here and happy Friday. And if there's anything that anyone would like to make sure to add to the agenda today, or if there's any opening kind of questions or thoughts, of course, we'll have time for that later on as well. But I just want to open the floor for that first. All right. Okay, then if you'll allow, Vic, I'm going to let Elva just share briefly about a little mini grant opportunity that we have available for these folks. And Elva, if you want to go ahead and kick it off, she'll just share shortly, and then we'll move on with the rest of the agenda.
Sure. Hi, good morning. So like Heidi said, there's an opportunity for a mini grant through Jeff's Possible Futures. Programs will pilot career exploration curriculum and receive $1,000, as well as a personalized Qualtrics data dashboard. So we're looking for 3 sites to complete the curriculum with fidelity and adapt it to their program and meet their student needs. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that application for the pilot program, as well as my email address. So if you have any questions, or if you'd like some more clarification, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, I'd be happy to hop on a call to give out some more information. But yeah, we're really excited for this opportunity and to share it with everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that application as well as my email.
Thanks, Elva. I appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions about that, there'll be more information on that link. But this is some excellent curriculum through it's called Possible Futures. It's from Jobs for the Future. And it's a pretty simple way to get some terrific curriculum and a little bit of money as well to cover materials or any other kind of expenses. There's not a lot of structure around, or there's not a lot of regulations around those dollars. So if you have questions, let us know. Like Elva said, we've got 3 spots left. There's 3 programs. Seems like a match made in heaven. But yeah, you let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, a wonderful opportunity for everybody here this morning. All right. Any questions about that before we move on?
Yeah, I do. I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't recall hearing anything about this grant until just now.
Yeah, it's kind of not necessarily a grant opportunity that folks would have applied for, but this is through some dollars that the Iowa After School Alliance had from our MGM involvement with the Mott Foundation. And Elva and I were kind of coming up with an idea for how we could use the dollars and the curriculum opportunities that we have. And we thought the OSTCP group would be the perfect people to share it with. So that's where it came from.
We need to discuss these things a little bit in advance, and here's why. Basically this year, I applied for the entire year in carryover. So in other words, we didn't spend any money this year. And the feds will take a dim view of us going after additional monies when we haven't spent the money that they gave us.
Well, the good news is you can still have access just to the curriculum if you'd like to have that as well. And we can make sure that the programs, get to have it. And then you could use the money from your OSTCP grant to pay for staff or materials or anything like that. That would be just fine.
Okay. Yeah, because, we've got to make sure that we're on the straight and narrow with this grant. Because I have a feeling that there might be an opportunity for an additional 5 years for this to continue. And that's if we can prove we are following the rules and making a difference for kids. And it hasn't been easy because of the pandemic. And we've got to get our data aligned a little bit better so that we can funnel it out to the feds. Speaking of spending money, there's a summer symposium in New Orleans this coming at the end of July. They don't have the agenda up there, but all of you guys with the OSTCP grant have funding available to attend this. And there's going to be a reserved session to present for the OSTCP recipients, those who attend, about grant progress. So that's something that you don't even have to say, okay, I'm going to submit a session. So think about this. If you want to attend, think about bringing some materials, maybe a couple of PowerPoint slides that you can share what we're doing here in Iowa on a national level. So that's a great opportunity. And, hopefully you can spend a few $1,000s on some really good PD.
Great. And we're going to drop that link in the chat too, Vic, so people can take a look at that. And we'll make sure we include it on the summary as well.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So do you want me to go ahead and stop sharing, and then you can move on to the next piece of the agenda, which was the monitoring and reporting document?
Sure. Okay. I promised you guys that I would come up with a monitoring document for our site visits. And what I wanted to do was have this not only be used for monitoring, but also be used as a way of gathering the information that we need every year. So you notice I've got the performance measures here on the left. And then also I've got years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a cumulative total. The feds have, always are looking for how much, progress have we made. And what they want here are the numbers of the students who complete these different areas like internship, apprenticeship. And so when I come out for a site visit, we will be taking a look at this. Now we're in year 3. So you're going to have to go back on your records and plug in years 1 and 2. Does anyone have any questions? And you should all be familiar with these because I had sent them out to you guys already. What I did change was the way that it's going to be reported. Because they had on there, like, they wanted percentages, and the feds kind of changed their mind, and they sent me in December, they wanted me to revise everything. So it hasn't been easy, and that's because they're asking for information by October, and we're not even done with our year. We've only had in October, we've only got one quarter where you put in claims to report on. So it's been very difficult, but at least some of the GEPRA measures, we should be able to do a fairly good job reporting. Then I added some other measures. And a lot of these are what I did. I went back to the grant, what we said we would do, and put this into a performance measure. Okay. So, you should have a committee of, parents, community members, local business, and you should be working with them. And then the documentation is your narrative of, how things have been going. And then if there's something you need to improve on, we'll talk about it and put it in here. So, providing students with transportation, that's, given for all these federal grants. Paying students a stipend. Now, we didn't know that at first, but we've been approved to do that. And so, we want to make sure that you guys are paying the students a stipend. My question is, why are we sitting on, $465,000? Maybe the students aren't getting paid. So, it's just something to check on. Also, really important is computer science opportunities. We said we would do computer science, so I need to, follow up and make sure we're doing it. And also career exploration for middle school students, okay? And if you look right up the top, I included the narrative from the grant. It says we'll have 825 total youth participating in a program when it's fully implemented. 80% high school age, or 280 will successfully complete the program, achieve some kind of certification. And then, we've got 350 high school students will have access to career opportunities, and 475 middle school students will get, career exploration. So that keeps that number on our radar. Does anybody have any questions about this? I think it's pretty simple. It's a little bit easier than the 21st century monitoring. And it's a good way for us to have some data to send in. And I intend to send this in October 2023 when, we send in all that other information, just so that the feds know that, we have created a way to monitor. I don't think this is going to be, that difficult to do. No questions?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have
Uh,
Heidi send this
Vic-
out with the meeting minutes and everything.
Vic, I do have a question.
Okay,
Is it required that we hit every single measure, every single line? We have to have documentation for something, or I'm not trying to screw it out of any. I'm just trying to, like, there's a couple I know we're not currently doing. So I'm just wondering, obviously we'll focus on those, but is it required that we have something for every single one, or it's an overall score, or?
well, you should have something for all of them, because I took this narrative from our grant proposal. And sometimes that it's, especially when we got hit with a pandemic. So, that kind of had us go sideways. But it's not the end of the world if there's something you're not doing. Why don't you email me with something you need help, and we can, meet before I come out officially and talk about it, because, this is basically for us to document things. And my goal is, if they allow us to do another 5 years, that we'll have a slam dunk. I don't think there's anything, even if you're not doing it now, that, it wouldn't be hard to make corrections and start doing it. You know, maybe you're not doing career opportunities, exploration for middle school students. So that's pretty simple. You contact your local community college and, you know, work with transportation and schedule, like, you know, a field trip out there and pay for the bus driver, the gas, you know, chaperones, take those kids out, and, you know, you've done your career exploration. So with any of these grant things, even with the 21st century, if there's something on there that you're not doing, that you should be doing, you know, we can work on that, and that's part of the improvement plan. My goal is not just to find something you're not doing and say, aha. No, it's to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, so we keep that funding coming in. And, you know, it's not, I don't think it's a big issue to strategize, you know, what things need to be added to meet all the criteria of the grant. And we're in a pretty good place compared with other states in Iowa. You know, we don't send money back to the feds. Other states are sending millions of dollars back. And when they send me to these meetings, I always say, hey, why can't you figure out, instead of sending it right back to Treasury, automatically ask for another period of time, and then let some of the small states who never get the large millions of dollars, let us have an opportunity to spend some extra money. So they haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I'll keep asking. And that helps, because we've been getting little by little, a little more money. When I started on this program, we were getting 4 million. We're getting close to 8 million now for 21st century. So that's pretty good. So like I said, with any of this stuff, if there's an issue, just contact me, because we'll work it out. All right. I can share with you the budget that I turned in. You guys see that? So when the feds look at this, they want to see the, you know, the entire 5 years on there. And you can see on the right, they write me little notes on things that they have questions on. And they wanted me to fill out the last column, column F, where it says actual totals. I didn't realize they needed that filled in. And I got a lot of instructions there about filling this out. So right now, though, I don't know the status, because they're supposed to let us know after the 10th of January of each year. Number one, did our grant get renewed? Number two, did we get the carryover requested, or did they modify that carryover? You know, so any day now, I'm expecting what they call a GAN, which is a letter saying you've got a grant for another year. Kind of like what we do in the state, you know, where we send out a contract to you guys every year. So Still waiting on the feds, but right now the feds are planning they're involved with 3 conferences. They've got one coming up in Orlando, beyond school hours. Then they got one in Atlanta, and then they've got the summer symposium. So I think that they've been waiting on some of this other stuff so they get their conferences done. But I'm hopeful that we'll get, that entire year carryover. And what we're going to have to do is, try to get more students and spend more money appropriately on the goals of this grant. So if we get 465,000 in carryover, that's gonna, put us over $900,000 that we're gonna need to spend. But the nice thing is, well, I'll come out and we'll have some meetings and we'll work together and figure out some ways that we can appropriately and strategically spend this funding and make a difference with this grant. So with the site visits coming up, make sure that you reserve your days with me. I've got Council Bluffs is the only one that's got some days reserved, but it's first come, first serve. So, if you wait too long, you'll email me and I'll say, oh, sorry, that spot is, that those days are already filled up. And keep in mind, here's another thing is I get invited to a lot of meetings that, on the department side. If I have a site visit that's already in there, then that they usually let that stay and I can get exempted from one of those meetings. So you want to do this as quickly as possible so that's all set. Anybody have any questions about carryover, site visits? Now, I will want to talk to the students. That's always something that I like to do. So how are your programs doing? Are you, getting more students enrolled? Are you getting more businesses to sponsor students? How are things going out in the field?
Well, as of right now, we're switching our semester over at the end of this week, and I have done more of the job shadowing and facility tours now than I had by the end of the entire year in May last year. So
Good.
I'm excited about that. We have a actual schedule and very clean outline of how people can get into the different apprenticeships and kind of figuring out that it doesn't look the same for each industry because, as a CNA, you're going through and working in a facility. So you already know what it looks like. But a welder has never been in a factory or anywhere. So they need to go see that before they start entering into those apprenticeship applications. So kind of figuring that out from last year, that's kind of been good too.
Good, good. Okay, who else would like to share?
Yeah, I can jump in from O-line. Dalton, our coordinator, has a sick baby today, so he's out, but
Oh, man.
so he could give you a better hands-on. But one of the things I think I called you, Vic, recently, we're really excited about doing, we have some similar to what was just shared, some field experience hours for an EMT course that we're going to get kids out in actual. We have an agreement now with Mercy One, our local hospital, to have students going ride-alongs Now they had to do a lot of other things, but we're actually able to pay them for that time as an apprenticeship and part of that work experience. And we're really excited for that. I think that's going to be great. EMT is a great need and shortage in our community, probably everywhere. So we're hoping then that will translate into law enforcement ride-alongs, as well as other industries, maybe the fire department, things like that. We have some young people interested in volunteering for our fire department, so paying maybe for that training and things like that. So it's kind of started to open the door. We cracked it, and we're going to see how it goes, and then hopefully open it even further. So that's really exciting.
I agree. Thanks.
This is Ariel from Boys and Girls Club. We are starting up our junior staff programming again. So the high school kids are applying and interviewing with our unit director to be placed at an elementary site. And we're working on to see if we can get a stipend for them, how much that would be. So once a week, they do a course with me to teach them application skills, resume, teamwork, some of those soft skills. And then they'll go through a training to get their mandatory reporting, first aid, some CCA trainings, and then they'll be placed at the elementary site. So it was really great last year, so we're really excited to get it started up again.
Wonderful. You know, I was listening to Tim talk about the EMT, and I know watching the news that there's a shortage across the state in a lot of counties with EMTs. And one way we might be able to spend more money is if we could have a program that would be open to more than just the students, you know, at the high school. I don't know how we would do it. Maybe we could do some sort of a Saturday training and have students from other counties get that kind of training as kind of a public service, because, you know, if we don't have an EMT and somebody's having a heart attack, they may not make it. And, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen. So that let me contact my program officer, and maybe we can get a little bit of leeway for something like that. But that's great. You guys give me ideas. How many people think they might be going out to the summer symposium in New Orleans? Okay, see one hand up. You can just write in the chat if you think you might go. But yeah, that's New Orleans is a nice town, except remember it's going to be hot and humid in July. So you may want to, you know, take a portable air conditioner with you, but other than that, the food is great. It's a nice town. There's all kind of things to see. And I think you'd, you know, enjoy going out there.
I think it was about, maybe 2008 or 9, the last time they had it out in New Orleans.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a wonderful conference. If you haven't been before, I definitely encourage you to check it out.
I believe that's the last time I met Maya Angelou. She was there signing books. So they always try to bring, you know, people with, you know, national influence there to these conferences. They also have musicians playing, you know, out on the street, you know, the jazz. So pretty nice atmosphere. Okay, does anyone have any anything else that they want to share? Or does anybody have any questions, concerns?
I can go ahead and stop the recording too, just in case there's something that wants to be said after that. I'll go ahead and do that now.